So I just got out of Queen of Pawns and I did well. I got a nice stack of games. I paid a little bit more than I would have wanted to normally, but considering everything that I got, I'm pretty happy. Again, apparently I'm just getting lucky because these are really hard to find, but they just had them on the shelf. So I'm like, yeah, might as well go for it. I did find something. It's not a game though, but it's something that I think is worth picking up because they're fairly uncommon. It has been quite a while since I've been to La Familia. I think almost a month or two, in fact. But I got lucky at Queen of Pawns and haven't been there in months, so maybe I'll get lucky here. Let's go in and take a look. Once again, going to pawn shops I don't normally go to paid off. I found 3 games that I was interested in for a grand total of, I think it's just under 25 bucks. One was $7.50, one was $4, and one was $12. I'll have to do the math as to how much it was, but I think I did pretty well with them. They're all games that look good. One of them, I'm not sure I'm gonna flip it or not. I can and I'll get a decent profit, but we'll see. They did have a PS4 controller in there, marked at $20, which is a really good price for a PS4 controller, but it's apparently for parts. So obviously I'm not gonna take a chance on that if it's not gonna work. But I got 3 games. First up, we have Code Vein on the PS4, action adventure game. Looks pretty fun. I only paid $12, which is not terrible. It's not amazing, but not terrible. So I'll take it. Next up, in this one, I always like to check the cases that don't have cover art just because you never know what you're gonna find, and sometimes you find some gems. The last one is definitely a gem. Rayman Origins on the PS3. This one I originally wanted $8 for. I got them down to like $7.50, which is, again, not ideal, but not terrible. Solid game. I've never owned it, so figured a nice addition to the PS3 collection. And this one, regardless of whether I got a deal or not, I was going to pick up just because of what it is and what it's worth. I saw this empty blue PS4 case and didn't know what was in it. Took a look. Black Ops 2 on the PS3. Black Ops 2 is always worth picking up anytime you could find it because it always trades in well at GameStop. I think it's worth like $8 at GameStop. Not as much as the 360 version, but I can still double my money because I only paid $4 for this one. So 3 games added to the pile. I think I did really well. All right, so it's time to do our recap for this episode, and you're probably going to notice that some things between this episode and the next episode are going to be kind of crossed over. Also, I'm going to look the same. That's because I've actually filmed a few different episodes concurrently. So the recaps obviously are going to be different per episode, but you might see some stuff that might not add up properly because it's coming in a future episode. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get to the recap. And this week, we had some pretty good stuff, that's for sure. So I'm going to start off with my Gamestop.com purchases. And both of these I picked up for retail. Thankfully, they were both cheap. I do think both of these games are going to be worth something in the future just because I doubt there's going to be a huge print run of them because they're kind of indie-ish. But I'm just happy to add them to the collection, to be honest. First off, we have Foreclosed on the Xbox Series X. I did play a little bit of this just to see what it is. It's like a comic book action game. I don't know much about it. It's kind of cool looking. I like to get further into it. I'm probably going to play it for the channel just because it's a game that I don't think a lot of people even heard of. $25 for this one. It's worth $25. And then of course we have Hades on the Xbox. This game, of course, amazing. I've been playing it a lot over the past few weeks. It's a terrific game. You know it's a good game when I bought a second copy because I already own a copy of this on the Switch and I had to get the Xbox version because when that day comes and they do remove it from Game Pass, I want to make sure I can play it on the best system possible. So of course I have the Xbox version. Paid $30 for this. It is worth $30. So broke even on both of those, which is pretty nice. All right, next up, we are going to Value Pawn, where I picked up 2 games, and one of them I've already traded in. So a number of these games I've already traded in, and I've traded them in future episodes or whatever. So you might not see the results of that until maybe a couple weeks down the road or so, but I did trade some of them and I got some good credit. So the game that I kept from this one is Overwatch on the Xbox One. I always wanted the Xbox copy again. I had the PS4 version, but obviously the Xbox One is more desirable because it is more enhanced on the Series X, and I have a Series X as opposed to a PS5. So I paid $8 for this, which is a little more than I would have liked to have paid, but it's not a terrible deal. It's worth $12, so not bad. And GameStop sells it for $30, so definitely good in terms of comparing it to retail. The other game that I picked up was Call of Duty Modern Warfare on the PS4, and originally I thought I didn't do very well on that because I paid $15 for it, which is about what it's worth, maybe a little less. However, because of GameStop promotions, I was able to get $16.90 in credit for it, so I did gain a little bit. It probably wasn't worth picking up if I only gained like $1, maybe $2, but you know, I figured it was worth the risk. So now GameStop has another copy of Modern Warfare on PS4. Next, we're gonna go to Queen of Pawns. I was very, very happy with how this trip worked out. Like I mentioned in the intro, this is a pawn shop I never go to. And the main reason why I never go there is because the last couple times I went, they weren't really willing to work with me, and their game selection just wasn't good. Like, they had mostly low-grade games, a lot of loose disc stuff. They weren't really offering good deals. But this time, I'm like, you know what? Let me try it again. It's been a long time since I've been there. And not only did they work with me, they gave me some really solid deals. I picked up a nice stack of games. One of them I have already gotten rid of. It's included in my trade-in bundle, which I'll talk about more in a bit. But the game I traded in, of course, was Call of Duty Modern Warfare on the Xbox One. That game I got $15.64 in trading credit, and I only paid $8 out of pocket, so that's pretty solid in terms of value. So in terms of the games that I kept, I got a Wii game, a PS4 game, and a whole bunch of PS3. So I'm pretty happy with all the stuff that I was able to pick up for that. So we're gonna start off with the Wii game, and that is a game called Heavenly Guardian on the Wii. It's a game I've never heard of. I don't know much about it. Looks interesting. It's always nice to add more games to the Wii collection. It's a collection that I'm starting to slowly build up a decent amount of stuff in. I paid $5 for this, and it is worth $5 in loose condition. So the nice thing is it did come in a genuine Wii case. Obviously, I have no cover art, but it came in a genuine Wii case, so that's something. I'll take it. All right, next up on the PS4, we have Pinball Arcade. This one I mostly picked up because it's not a game I find very often. Pinball games are fun, you know? You can't go wrong with a good pinball game. It's also in pretty good condition. The disc is good. So I'm like, for the right price, I was willing to pick it up. I paid $8 for it, and it's worth $15, so I actually got a decent bump up in value for the pinball game on PS4. So pretty happy with that. And then this nice stack of PS3, and I'm pretty happy with all these. These are all pretty solid titles. They don't necessarily have a ton of value, but again, when you're trying to build up that PS3 collection, it's always nice when you can find good quality games for cheap prices. So first one up, this is the PS2 case, but it has Escape from Dead Island in here on the PS3. This is a action-adventure spin-off of the Dead Island games. Came out shortly after Dead Island Riptide, I believe. It's not a very expensive game. I paid $3 for all of the PS3 games. So every single game from here on out was $3. This one is worth $3, so not a ton of value. I'm probably going to take it out of this PS2 case, so I have an extra PS2 case, and pop it into my loose disc binder, just because I don't want to keep it in a PS2 case if it's a PS3 game, so yeah, but I kept it in there for now. Next up, we have Dark Void on the PS3. I believe I have this digitally on Xbox, but I'm not 100% sure. I figured I'd pick up a physical copy on PS3. Solid little addition. Nice fun game from like the 2010 era of action games, so it has kind of all the same trappings you would expect from games of that era. I paid $3 for this one and it is worth $4. So again, not a ton of value, but that's okay. Next up, we have Overlord Raising Hell on the PS3. This is a port of Overlord, which originally was exclusive to the Xbox 360 and PC. However, they did make a version for PS3 and Wii. So this version has everything the Xbox 360 version had, and I think some extra bonus content as well. I don't own it, so that helps out. Again, $3 for this one is worth $6, so a nice little double up in value there. Next up, we have Fracture on the PlayStation 3. This one was from LucasArts. It's a fun little game where you have the ability to control like the earth, so like you can raise the ground under your enemies or like cause a sinkhole. It looked interesting. Never played it, but it looked very 2008, 2009-ish. But it looks fun. Again, $3. This one is worth $5. Next up, we have Enemy Territory Quake Wars on the PS3. It's a Quake spin-off. It looks fun. Again, I might have played it back in the day on the 360, but I don't remember. I figured it was a nice game to add to the collection. $3. This one is worth $5. And then last but certainly not least, I know I'm ending this on a game that probably is underwhelming to some, but I am proud to say, unlike all of the other games, I actually have cover art for this one because I remembered that I got the cover art for this game in a different random pawn shop pickup. So it is now almost complete. I just need the manual, and then I will have a complete copy of Turning Point Fall of Liberty on the PS3. So got the disc, got a genuine PS3 case, and have the cover art, just don't have the manual. $3. This one is worth $5. Nice solid pickup of games from a pawn shop that I don't normally go to. So next I went to GameStop again to trade in a bunch of stuff. So some of these titles I already talked about, and then some of them I did not. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare on the PS4, which I already talked about. Modern Warfare on the Xbox One. Jedi Fallen Order I picked up a couple episodes ago. Forza Horizon 4 I also picked up a couple episodes ago. And I also threw in my copy of Overwatch on the PS4 because I didn't need it anymore. I have the Xbox One version. Got $68 in credit, which is pretty good. And I picked up a good amount of stuff from GameStop. Now this was not included in that. I picked it up online. But I had to pick it up because this is a game I've been meaning to pick up for a while, and I finally found it at a fairly decent price. It is a first-party Nintendo game, so because of that, it's rare to find them on sale for a good price. This was not terrible, so I figured I'd scoop it up. And of course, Zach, my younger brother, if you're watching this, yes, I finally got it. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition on the Switch. This was on sale. I think that GameStop was price matching, I don't know what site, maybe Walmart, but it was $38, which is not terrible.
Hello, Future Chris here. So I wanted to make a little clarification on my copy of Xenoblade Chronicles, which I picked up from GameStop. I got a notification today that for some reason my order got refunded, even though I picked up the game. So my guess is for some reason GameStop didn't register that I picked up the game, even though I did. So I get it for free. Cool. Can't beat that, but I didn't do anything wrong, to be fair. I picked up the game as expected, told them I was there to pick up an order that I placed, but I guess they just didn't set it up properly, so I got it for free. Cool. Anyway, back to the video.
And it's worth 45 or 44. So pretty solid bump up in value. It's a game I've been meaning to pick up for a while. Figured it was worth it. In addition at GameStop, the other stuff I picked up for my credit was not game related necessarily. It was mostly a lot of extra stuff. But again, this was one of those things where they happen to have this, and I know this is pretty hard to come by sometimes, so I figured, you know what? If it's available, I'm gonna pick it up. We have the Loftwing Amiibo for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. This is a pretty sought after Amiibo, especially because it actually has a very useful ability in Skyward Sword HD. It allows you to travel between the sky and
the land at any time if you scan the Amiibo. It's also just a really cool looking Amiibo, so pretty happy to pick this up. I paid for this entirely with credit, plus I had a coupon, a $5 coupon. So pretty solid. Basically I paid nothing for it out of pocket. It was worth $35. Solid. The other things I picked up were Pokemon cards, which I'm not going to include here because I did a whole video unboxing Pokemon cards on the BigCTV channel. And I'm actually going to be doing that, I guess, more regularly. I actually started a whole spin-off of unboxing called Unboxing Pokemon. So if you want to see me unbox more Pokemon cards, check that out on the BigCTV channel. But I got a couple Pokemon packs. Next, I went to Target, and I don't go to Target very often, but I figured I would take a look to see if they had any clearance games and some other stuff. They didn't have clearance games, but they did have something that, again, is not something you find everywhere. That's pretty sought after. I didn't have it, so I figured I'd pick it up for the right price, which is retail price. We have the Sanrio collaboration Animal Crossing Amiibo cards. So if you don't know, this is a special pack of Amiibo cards that only came out at Target, I believe. There's a crossover between Sanrio, which is the company who created Hello Kitty, and Animal Crossing. It does include some new villagers and some new props and stuff that you can set up for your Animal Crossing island. I've not opened it yet, so I don't know exactly what's in it, but it is intended for New Horizons. So that's pretty cool. These are still pretty hard to find, even though the Animal Crossing fad has definitely died down quite a bit since 2020. I don't hear people talking about it nearly as much anymore. I'm gonna go back to it eventually. I do like Animal Crossing a lot. I mean, I played a lot of it last year. But I paid $6 for this, and it is worth $12. So, solid deal there. And we're gonna wrap up with La Familia, which is another pawn shop I don't go to that often anymore. Mostly because, again, they individually price their games. Now, they do tend to work with me a bit on those prices, but I much prefer flat rate or, like, lower bundle deals as opposed to individually priced stuff. Which, right now, the only pawn shop that really does that is Cash America. Mostly because I go there all the time, so they're definitely willing to work with me on those prices. But I did pick up some more stuff. First game I picked up, and I've already traded this in, but it's going to be included in a future video, and that is Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on the PS3. Now, the Xbox 360 version is definitely the version of that game you want to be looking out for, because it's worth like $13 in trade-in at GameStop. However, the PS3 version is also worth a decent amount of money. Traded that in for $9.10 after bonuses, and I only paid $4 out of it, so I got double what I paid in trading credit. Pretty happy with that. I was originally planning on holding on to that game. The reason why I ended up trading it in is because I do want the Xbox 360 version, because then I can stream it and I can run it on my Series X, and it is backwards compatible. So I am still working on trying to complete the collection of Call of Duty games on the Xbox. So I got to keep an eye out for Black Ops 2. If I can find a really good copy of it, like a clean, complete copy of it, I'll probably hold on to it instead of trading it in. But that's why I traded it in, is just because I want an Xbox copy. Next up, we have Rayman Origins on the PS3, another PS3 game that I did not own. I've heard good things about Rayman Origins. I have Rayman Legends on Xbox, I think it was Games with Gold. Origins is kind of the precursor to that. I've heard really good things about it. I figured, you know what? It wasn't that expensive. I'll add it to the collection. I paid $7.50 for this. They originally wanted $8, I think. It's only worth $7, so I lost a little bit of value, but again, I think it's a solid addition to my collection. And then last but certainly not least, this is a game that I've been meaning to pick up for a while. I would have preferred for it to be on Xbox, not gonna lie, but they had it on PS4 and weren't asking for a ridiculous amount for it, so I figured, you know what, let's just throw it on the pile. Code Vein on the PS4. Action-adventure game, looks pretty fun. I'm excited to try it out. Paid $12 and it's worth $12. So I basically broke even on this one, but that's okay. So overall, I had a pretty solid week. Got a good amount of stuff from pawn shops I don't normally go to, Got a lot of PS3, which is great. So my PS3 collection is just going to continue to keep getting better. Also got some Amiibo and a Switch game that I've been meaning to pick up for a while. So pretty happy about all the values of all the stuff that I got this week. So yeah, happy camper. Anyway, that is going to do it for this episode of the Bargain Game Hunter. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're new around here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell. That way you know when new videos drop. As of the time of this recording, which is in early September of 2021, we have just begun our Halloween Spooktacular, which is a special event that I run across the BigCTV, BigCTV Plays, and Thrill Seekers YouTube channels, where I do a bunch of stuff relating to spooky season. So you can expect Halloween food taste tests and various activities involving Halloween on the BigCTV channel. You can expect events like Hallow Scream and Halloween Horror Nights, among maybe some other stuff, on the Thrill Seekers channel. And on the BigCTV Plays channel, that's this one, you can expect Halloween themed gaming videos. We're releasing a whole series on the Dark Pictures anthology Man of Medan, which I'm currently working on playing through. And then maybe I'll throw in some other spooky-ish games in addition to that. So if you like spooky games and want to see someone who's not the biggest fan of spooky games play them, and we'll see how that goes, check it out. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week on the Bargain Game Hunter. Bye-bye.